So we have to make sure the alif, it carries a fatha. So that's a really common mistake that everyone does it, including adults. So we have to make sure that we're not prolonging it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Okay, so let's move on to the lesson. Can I request the support teacher for another student?
G1483, please unmute yourself.
G1483.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. So can you recite the first line for me with vowels and tasmiyah?
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Ajrun.
Ajrun
Ya, por-
zi
Zik-
zikra
Zikraka.
देखो ऊपर।
Can you recite it? Zikraka.
zikraka
Yes.
falam lam
Okay. Fadamdama.
fadamdama
Yes. Do not prolong the meme. It carries a fatha. So fadamdama.
fadamdama
Yes.
takhar.
Yes. Well done. I just wanted to ask you here that this letter, it's a ka. So can you tell me what does this kaf carry?
Fatah.
Fatha. And for how long can we prolong the fatha for?
1 minute or 1 count.
1 second. That's right. So you recited very well. So I just wanted to highlight that do not prolong the fatha dhamma kasra. So zikraka. Can you pronounce it? Zikraka. I think we have lost connection with you. That's okay. So can I request the support teacher for another student?
G1484, please unmute yourself.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you recite for me this line with tawaz and tasmiyah?
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tanhar matla'i anhum falyad'u balagna
فَلْيَدْعُ
falyad'u
فَلْيَدْعُ.
falyad'u
Yes, a bit better. Can فَلْيَدْعُ. Yes, perfect. That was fine. You recited well. Can you again recite for me the first two words?
Tanhar matla'i.
Yes, well done. Well done. I would like to ask you here this noon. What does this noon carry? Can you tell me?
Dhamma
Is it a dhamma or is it a sukoon?
Sukoon.
Yes, well done. Yes, it's a sukoon. So when there's a sukoon, what do we have to do? The before letter, it's here, we have a ayn. So do we join the ayn with noon or no?
No.
Are you sure we have to join? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. So when before the sukoon, we have a ayn, right? And the noon carries a sukoon. So we will join the letter which comes before the sukoon, which is ayn. Anhum.
Anhu.
Well done. Jazakumullah. Could I request the support teacher for another student?
Akla.
Jazakallah.
G1491, please unmute yourself.
G1491. Assalamu alaikum.
G1550, please unmute yourself.
G1550.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you recite this line for me? Start with Tawaz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بلغنا
Yes.
أزهره لهوا
Ya'budu.
يعبد
Yes. Well done. You recited well. I would like to ask you here. This ayn, what does this ayn carry? Is it a dhamma or is it a sukoon?
سكون.
Sukoon, yes. So what do we do when there's a sukoon on top of a letter?
You join it with the letter behind it.
Yes, well done. So before the sukoon, whatever letter carries a fatha dhamma kasra, we join it with the sukoon letter. Well done. Jazakallah. Can I request the support teacher for another student?
G1552, please unmute yourself.
G1552.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Are you in a quiet place because I can hear some noise behind you? Okay, it's a bit better now. So can you recite this line for me? Start with Tawaz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Absir.
أبصر
Asmi'.
أسمع
Tabsiratan.
تبصرة
Bi'izni.
بإذني.
Yes, well done. Could you recite this word again for me? Tabsiratan.
تبصرة.
Yes, well done. Okay, can you tell me this ayn? What does this ayn carry? We have been learning this lesson. I just talked about, is it Is it a dhamma or is it a sukoon?
Sakun.
Yes, well done. So do you know what we do when a letter carries a sukoon? Do we join it with the previous letter? I think you're disconnected. So now can I request the support teacher for another student?
G1579, please unmute yourself.
G1579.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you recite this line for me, which I am highlighting? Start with Tawas and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بأصحاب بأصحاب يوسبس صدرك فرقت فرغت.
Okay, Jazakallah. Well done. You recited well, mashallah. I would like to quickly ask you again, which I'm asking all the students here. Can you tell me this scene? What does it carry?
سكون
Yes, it's a sukoon. So what do we do when a letter carries a sukoon? Do we join it with the previous letter or no?
yes.
Yes. Yes, and should I prolong the sukoon when I join or no?
Yes.
No. So like when we're joining, you was we su, you was. We do not prolong it, okay?
Okay.
The reason I'm telling this is because many people prolong it, so we do not prolong it. So Jazakallah, you recited well.
Zakla.
Jazakallah. Can I have another student, please?
G1584, please unmute yourself.
G1584. Assalamu alaikum.
G1602, please unmute yourself.
G1602.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you recite for me this line that I have highlighted? Start with Tawas and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذك ذكرك ذكرك يلمزك بنهمتي أشركت.
Yes, well done. Jazakallah. You recited well. I would like to quickly ask you this question. This lam, can you tell me what does it carry?
جزم.
Yes, it's a jazm. Do you know the another word for jazm?
سكون.
Yes, well done. And can you tell me what do we do when a letter carries a jazm or a sukoon?
blend.
Yes, so we join it with the previous letter before the jazm. So can you recite this word for me again? Yalmizuka.
يلمزك.
Yes, well done. Jazakumullah. Could I have another student?
This is G1602.
Yes.
And the triplets.
Sorry, what are you saying?
The triplets.
Triplets. Okay, so are all your sisters or brothers here in class?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you have your
Three brothers.
brothers? Okay, mashallah. Do you have an ID for your brothers?
What?
Do you have ID for your brothers?
G1602.
G1602. Okay, can your brother come on the mic? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
So is your brother on the mic?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yes. So can you recite this line for me? Start with always and tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
From here,
ذكرك
yes.
يلمزك
Yes.
بنعمة أشرق
Ashrakta.
أشرقت.
Yes. Jazakallah. Well done. You recited very well. So, Jazakumullah.
My last brother needs to have a turn.
Last brother. Okay. Can I have his turn after if I have time, because I need to have another students I need to ask. Okay. Jazakumullah.
Yes.
Jazakumullah. Support teacher, can I request you to unmute another student?
Yes, G1664. Please unmute yourself.
G1664. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you recite the last line for me? Start with always and tasmiyah.
ولا وللآخرة ولل ولل
وللأرض
وللأرض
فليدعو
فليدعو
فليكتب فليكتب. Yes, well done. Can you quickly recite this line, this word again for me?
فليدعو.
Yes, well done. Jazakallah. Can I have another student for practice?
I think that's my sister, or has she already done hers?
We'll call her when it's her turn.
We will call her when it's turn because we are running out of time. Jazakumullah.
Is that
G1673, please unmute yourself.
G1673. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you recite for me the last line? Start with tawas and tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم lal a
وللآخرة
wa a
وللآخرة
walal akhiratu
yes وللأرض
walil ardi
وللأرض
walil ardi
فليدع
fal yud'u fal fal ya yakutub
yes فليكتب
wakyatub
فليكتب
fal yaktub.
yes well done mashallah well done for your effort jazakallah. Could I have one more student?
G1743, please unmute yourself.
G1743 assalamu alaikum.
G1798, please unmute yourself.
G1798
G1828, please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum.
assalamu alaikum. Can you recite for me the first line
Yes.
with pause and tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أثمر
أثمر
أثمر مريات
مرية
مريات
yes
صدر
سد
ركا أشهر
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 yes well done jazakallah for your effort. Can you tell me the ra? Do you know what the ra carries? We just learned it recently. Is it a dhamma or is it a tanween?
تنوين
Yes. So when there's a tanween, do you know what we do? When a word carries tanween, this is a dhamma tanween? So we have to join the letter with noon. Run.
we like join it.
Yes. So the tanween. So the word letter carries a tanween. So we have to remember that any letter which carries a tanween, we have to remember to join it with noon. Run.
Run
Ashhurun.
أشهر
Same here. You can see we have a ta and the ta carries a tanween. So we have to join this ta with noon. Usbatun.
أصبة
Yes, well done. Or also, can you quickly tell me this ra? What does this ra carry? Is it a dhamma or is it a sukoon?
كون
Sukoon, yes. So when there's a sukoon, what do we do?
we like join it.
Yes, well done. So we join it with the previous letter. Here we have a meme. So miryatin.
سمرية
Yes, so we have to remember this ta. What does this ta carry? A tanween, right?
yeah.
So when there is a tanween, we have to remember it's a double kasra. So we join this ta with noon. Miryatin.
مرية
Yes, well done, Jazakallah. Could I request the support teacher for another student?
Yes, can I please request you to check your messages? In charge has sent you a WhatsApp message.
Yes.
G1835, please
G
unmute your.
G1835. Assalamu alaikum.
G1837, please unmute. Okay, so 35 has unmuted.
G1835.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you recite this line for me? Start with Tawas and Tasmiyah.
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أسبة يحسب نسيا يخلق.
Well done. You recited well, mashallah. I would like to ask you here, this ya, what does this ya carry? Can you tell me? Is it a sukoon or is it a tanween?
تنوين.
Tanween, yes. So do you know what we do when a letter carries a tanween?
No.
Okay, so you pronounce it. Can you pronounce it for me, this word?
Yan.
Yes, yan. So when a letter, you pronounce it well. So whenever a letter carries a tanween, so we join the letter with noon. So we have a ya. Ya carries a tanween. So we join the ya with noon. Nasyan. Can you repeat it? Nasyan.
Nasyan.
Yes, well done. Jazakumullah. Could I have another student?
G1, G1837, please unmute yourself.
G13. Assalamu alaikum, G1387. Can you recite the first line for me? Start with Tawas and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أجر ذكرك فدمدم تقهر.
Yes, well done, Jazakallah. You recited well. Could you just quickly tell me here? The Jim, what does this Jim carry?
سكون.
Sukoon, that's right. And what do we do when a letter carries a sukoon or a jazm? Do we join it?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me how we join this? The first word? Yes. Well,
أجر.
yes, well done, Jazakallah. That was perfect. Can I have one more student, please?
G1303, please unmute yourself.
G1303. Assalamu alaikum.
G1317, please unmute yourself.
G1317.
G1477, please unmute yourself.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Could you recite the first line for me? Start with Tawas and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Yes.
تنهر
مطلع عنهم فليدعوا.
Well done, Jazakallah. You recited very well, mashallah. Just one point here that you kind of prolong the la. So make sure that we do not prolong any fatha dhamma kasra. Matla'i.
مطلع.
Yes, well done. Could you quickly just tell me the noon? What does this noon carry? Is it a dhamma or is it a sakoon jazm?
Is it سكون?
Yes, well done. It's a sakoon. So what do we do when a letter carries a sakoon? Can you tell me?
We join it from the previous letter.
Yes, well done. So can you pronounce this word for me again?
عنهم.
Yes, well done. Jazakallah. Could I request the support teacher for another student?
G1448, please unmute yourself.
G1448.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Could you recite this line for me?
Okay.
Start with Tawaz and Tasmiyah.
Okay. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Balaghana wa zaharahu lahwan yu'budu.
Okay, well done, mashallah. You recited well. Could you quickly tell me here this wow? What does this wow carry?
In a vertical dhamma. A vertical dhamma.
No. Is it a tanween or is it a normal dhamma?
In a tanween.
Yes, tanween. So can you tell me what do we do when there's a tanween?
In
Do we join it with noon?
yes.
Yes. So can you quickly pronounce this word again for me?
Okay. Lahwun.
Yes. Well done, mashallah. Jazakumullah.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. So as you can see, we're now reaching towards the end of our class. I want all the students to practice the Sukoon Jazm rule. So you can practice this with exercise 12.3 and make sure that all sounds, all letter. And also remember that tomorrow we have a quiz. So make sure that you visit the Google Drive and practice the questions of the quiz. So before we end our class, we are going to quickly go through the ending prayer. Can I request the support teacher to please pick a student for the prayer?
G1421, please unmute yourself.
G1021, Assalamu alaikum.
1421, please unmute yourself.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you recite this ending prayer for me? Start with Tawaz and Tasmiyah.
Okay. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahummarham ni bil Qur'anil azim. Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the Quran the Great. Waj'alhu li imaman wa nuran wa hudan wa rahmatan, and make it for me the leader, the light, the good,
The guidance and the mercy.
the guidance and the mercy.
Okay, Jazakallah. So this concludes our class for today. Inshallah, see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.